You have provided us with some information about your own journey,
Yes.
your own experiences and background, and this remarkable image.
Maria submitted a photograph of the image she captured on March 11, 2022, while visiting Machu Picchu in Peru for analysis.
What is it that we can do for you?
I've always been very sensitive since I was a little kid, and I've got like these visions and sort of things. I'm just very pleased for you to explain me and to give me this opportunity. I'm not the expert. This is like new for me, so I'm very open to listen to your opinion.
The image is so arresting. You hadn't noticed the image when you first aimed your camera at this landscape?
No, actually not. It was just like this amazing view of the sacred body.
Reminds me very much of the Calvine UFO image. The Calvine UFO refers to an incident in 1990 in Calvine, Scotland, where two hikers photographed what seems to be a hovering diamond-shaped object. It's one of the best pieces of photographic evidence for UFOs that we possess. When I first saw your photo, I thought to myself, this might be the best photo of a UFO ever taken. With that in mind, Chrissy collaborated with a team of investigators to examine the image.
The car surrounded by this white blue light.
It felt like it was moving through me.
When we did the photo analysis, we realized that it wasn't faked or it wasn't manipulated in any way.
This could be the most extraordinary piece of photographic evidence we have in the field. When I first saw your photo, I thought to myself, this might be the best photo of a UFO ever taken. Reminds me very much of the Calvine UFO image. The Calvine UFO refers to an incident in 1990 in Calvine, Scotland, where two hikers photographed what seems to be a hovering diamond-shaped object. It's one of the best pieces of photographic evidence for UFOs that we possess. Chrissy, what did you find?
It's a beautiful photo of an alleged UFO. And when I looked at yours, I was like, oh my gosh, it is really arresting, as Mitch said. So what we did was we collected your materials. We took your testimonial, we took your photo. And so we have to do a little bit of research. And so this is your photo. I've never seen any UFO image like this ever before. Like we see some smoke underneath it, but I've never seen. It's a pretty amazing image. Like it's extremely colorful. It's extremely vibrant. When you look at a photo like that, you think it has to be faked or manipulated in some form or fashion.
Chrissy's team conducted an authentication analysis of Maria's photo, which can determine if the image was manipulated in any way.
When we did the photo analysis, we realized that it wasn't faked or wasn't manipulated in any way. Then we thought maybe it wasn't taken exactly where you said it was. But with geolocation and geotagging, it confirmed the date, time, and location. So my job here is to do analysis, come to a conclusion, talk to multiple experts, and try to find an answer. So, can I ask you, were you on a train when you were driving?
Yeah.
Can you describe where you were in the train?
It's like a kind of these table and places.
Yeah.
And I was sitting next to the window.
Okay, interesting. How big was the window?
Oh, well, like,
幾百條鏈嚟，跟住呢喺中面咩卡？
Yeah.
you can
fucking
see my
retarded 真的。My God. disgusting
Let me show
retardation
you
is.
this. Was it the Vista Dome train that you were traveling in?
smells something.
Yeah.
Maria was traveling to Machu Picchu on the Vista Dome train line, which carries tourists through the Andes Mountains and offers a panoramic view of the area.
What does that look like to you?
What?
This top image compared to your image?
Oh, it's kind of similar.
It's not real.
That's the light that's atop the train. Reflecting off the window.
When analyzing Maria's photo and the image of the train cabin, researchers made a stunning realization. She captured an image of the reflection of the cabin lights.
And that's why we didn't see it when you were looking out the window. But when you saw it in the actual photo.
The data is definitive that this is not a UFO.
If you say so, you are the experts, you know.
As you know, this in no way discounts your other experiences or detracts from them.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time.
So
Safe
much.
travels back.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you.
I understand that science needs physical proofs and matter to prove everything, but the answer doesn't change anything for my life. I know what I saw. I wish this was real.
Of course, finding something like this that's real is the purpose of this mission. Look, gold miners find a vein of gold, they follow it, sometimes they strike pay dirt, sometimes they don't. But we have to keep following that vein of gold.
I don't really care what anybody thinks about this photo. I know.
เลี้ยวขวาแล้วตรงไป ใน 200 เมตรตรง
We have kind of a winner's circle here of
Yeah.
experiencers, if I can
Yeah.
put it that way.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Not all are valid, but all come to the table
And all
prepared.
really interesting.
Hey y'all,
Hi.
how's it going? Well, you both traveled a ways to get here, and we're very grateful. Although we do have the basics of your account, please let us know what was going down when this occurred.
Yeah. My name is William Carabal. I live in Los Angeles, California.
My name is Erin Stack, and what I can say about that night is that language does not possess the words for what we experienced.
I like to speculate on what's going on. I have to know what happened that night. It was January 2014. We were driving back from Las Vegas to Los Angeles. It was really late. We've been driving for a couple hours. I couldn't stay awake, and so it had to have been about midnight by the time that we pulled over.
I was asleep in the passenger seat, and I remember like coming to, like waking up, and the car being off, and we were stopped and pulled off the road into the desert, and I immediately had a really uneasy feeling, like a bad feeling. And that's when a sound and a vibration. It was a very low, metallic type of hum, like descended around us and the car. And in that moment, I saw like the car surrounded by this white blue light.
There was just this like white light, and it felt like it was moving through me, and it was all just vibration, and I could feel every type of feeling that you don't want to feel: fear, regret, suspicion, hate, and unwelcomeness.
Everything was sort of like a blue-gray tone, and what I saw was
What we do is we look at air traffic patterns, satellites, and rocket launch data that we cross-check with the date, time, and location. And it showed
January 2014. We were driving back from Las Vegas to Los Angeles.
I was asleep in the passenger seat. And that's when a sound and a vibration, it was a very low metallic type of hum, like descended around us and the car.
Feel every type of feeling that you don't want to feel: fear, regret, suspicion, hate, and unwelcomeness.
Everything was sort of like a blue-gray tone, and what I saw was a humanoid type form with an enlarged head, enlarged eyes, but not like as large as like you see in movies, standing at the passenger window, staring at me, like down at me, like I looked up and made eye contact. And then I snapped, "Get us out of here right now." The sound stopped. It just was gone. And when it went, I said, "What was that?" And as he turned the key to start the car, I remember you saying, "I don't know, but it sounded like a UFO." Started the car, and we were out there. Got back to Los Angeles, but I feel like we had like an aversion of talking about it, and our relationship didn't last much longer after that.
We remained friends, but never really talked about it again. There was never a good time to bring it up, and now I'm realizing that I've never told anyone this. I saw the outline that you're talking about. Like, I saw that silhouette, and I just thought I was dreaming. And you may not realize, we were there for like an hour.
Well, that's why I felt like there was an hour lost in this situation, because by the time we got home, the times didn't match.
If it had just been me, it would have been so easy to write off as like, yeah, that was definitely a dream. Looking back on it, it's like, that happened,
Yeah.
He may have been abducted.
It would make perfect sense to me if we found out there was more evidence to support what we experienced that night, because it was so real and we both vividly remember it in this way.
What are you hoping that we can provide for you?
I'd be super interested to learn if these experiences are something that are congruent with what other people have gone through.
And you, I'm more interested in hearing how they describe it, and the details of, not just what they saw, but how they felt. And to make sure people like myself don't feel isolated, I guess.
Of course. It's notable that this experience happened to both of you. And I'm thinking first and foremost of the Barney and Betty Hill abduction in 1961, probably the most famous. Betty and Barney Hill were a New Hampshire couple who in fall 1961 reported being abducted by aliens from their car at night.
On Monday, the couple claims they were driving along a highway in New Hampshire's White Mountains when they heard a beeping sound. The next thing they remembered was driving along the same road, but 2 hours had passed, and they woke up 35 miles from the spot where they had blanked out.
Barney took the binoculars and was going to get out of the car and was going to identify this object. And at this point, he could see human-like figures standing in the window looking down at him.
It was only through hypno-regression therapy that Betty and Barney were able to bring forth really compelling and terrifying testimony that set the template for abduction encounters in the 20th and 21st centuries. We also have the Travis Walton case. He and his colleagues, foresters, disappeared in 1975. And the Allagash abductions of 1976, all of which involved multiple people, and all of which, and listen very carefully to this, all of which involved people who, when returning to ordinary consciousness, did not really remember what happened. Almost like a dream is that you only dimly remember, and it was only thereafter that they began to recall bits and pieces of what had occurred, in many cases through regression therapy. But it's quite remarkable that it's not just one person saying, well, gee, this is what happened to me. It's groups of people, it's missing time, it's very murky memories that later, and only later, become clear.
And it's the physical descriptions of the things too, how that all seems to line up.
Of course. Well, let me tell you what we're going to try to accomplish here today. We have your accounts, your testimony, your materials. This is something that Chrissy has looked over and examined, and our wish is to really provide you with something as close to conclusive as we're able to.
Aaron and William submitted their individual accounts of their experience, along with the date, time, and location of the encounter. However, they do not have photo or video evidence of the event, which makes Chrissy's analysis challenging.
What we end up doing is we cross-reference time, date, location with multiple UFO databases to see if there's any other UFO sightings in that region. But there were no other UFO sightings in the area. So then what we do is we look at air traffic patterns, satellites, and rocket launch data that we cross-check with the date, time, and location. And it showed no records of any air traffic at that time. Did you ever think that it was dreaming? Some scientists and some psychologists would say that this is dreaming, right? You can move your bodies, both of you can move your bodies.
I
any form of
remember-
sleep paralysis.
No, it didn't feel like one of those dreams. It did not.
Yeah, it was like the opposite, because there's zero control, and it was just total confusion and sadness. When you dream, you see stuff. You don't just dream of like white fog that's filled with negative emotions. You know, like that's not a thing. And so that was accompanied by the vibrations,
The sound.
yeah.
So that hum is very, very consistent. Most people that said they've had any type of close encounter, you hear that a lot. But I don't have any hard science, right, that I can say like exactly this is what it is. I just unfortunately don't.
In order to reach my conclusion,
Any type of close encounter, you hear that a lot. But I don't have any hard science, right, that I unfortunately don't.
in order to reach my conclusion, I look at a variety of factors. It's notable that this experience happened to both of you, and that does compare with other abduction experiences.
It's interesting because you both had the same experience.
And it's quite remarkable, and I think it is fair and just to say, Roswell is one of the only location names that carries with it a whole mythology. You hear the name itself, and it's associated with a whole epoch of history. In this case, an alleged UFO crash in 1947.
There's so much lore around it, government cover-up, off-world, UAPs, potentially bodies. It's so fantastical.
Roswell to me represents the search for truth. It is a town built on a mystery. For my outlook, I take into account the data that Chrissy has analyzed, the background and credibility of the witness, surrounding circumstances, corroboration, history, and I try to weave it all together in one ball, which informs my decision. Now, you guys had a shared experience, but there are things you've learned more recently, is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, just hearing her detailed account of it has kind of brought back some memories and also enlightened me on stuff that I didn't know about. The split between when I tell her to go to sleep, she rolls over and sees it. In that moment, that's when I thought we both just like took a nap or something and went to sleep. But for her, it was just an instant. And so that's the part that was so weird because a bunch of time passed while we were there. Like she remembers it being this quick thing, and for me, it felt more like a few minutes when really it was more like an hour. It was really just, kind of that what happened during that time type of feeling.
You know, time slips or missing time Look, it can happen as mental gaps. You fall asleep, you're hypnotized, you're in a state of hypnagogia, that very relaxed state between sleep and awakening. But you looked at the clock, you know the drive, it's not the first time you've done it, you're familiar with the area, and you both said to yourselves, separately and together, we're missing an hour here, and there's no mistake about that.
Yeah.
You guys join a lineage of reports that involve more than one person, and all of which, and listen very carefully to this, all of which involved people who, when returning to ordinary consciousness, did not really remember what happened, almost like a dream is, that you only dimly remember. Whenever we're considering any experience, we look for corroboration. I also look at the credibility of the witnesses. You've also, frankly, put your own reputations on the line. You've stepped up with a narrative that is corroborated, at least among the two of you. It's missing time. It's very murky memories that does compare with other abduction experiences. It's quite remarkable, and I think it is fair and just to say you've had an abduction experience.
The takeaway for me, at least, is that like it didn't feel like, oh, this like ruined my life. I hear a lot of abductees talking about how their life just was totally ruined. That's sort of one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about it too, is to like let people know it's not bad necessarily. It can be bad for sure, but I think that a lot of the bad experiences people had is because they were just clouded by fear, preventing them from seeing the possibilities of these interactions.
We all go through things in life that we would not want to go through again, but looking back, we realize those are the very experiences that have refined us, and I think that's what happened to you two. And I thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to exchange with you. Thank you.
The thought of abduction is something that I've been trying to deny, I guess, for a while. Hearing what they had to say, it's sort of like they've opened up Pandora's box in terms of how I perceive the situation and all the things that it implies about us and the world and the unknown.
It's not uncommon that it will take abductees years to come to terms with even the details of their experience. I'd like to think that we opened up new doors for him. Well, I wish there were physical evidence for you to look at and consider. What we have is testimony from two credible, solid-seeming individuals.
Yeah.
It was really interesting that so many other people have had almost the exact same experiences that we have. This validation lets me know that I'm not alone. It lets me know that I'm not crazy. This isn't weird. This is a thing we can talk about openly, and it's okay and it's safe. I think that I know enough to know that I know nothing, and I will always be searching. I will always be seeking. I will always be learning more.
See this bright white light. I was blown away. I want to get to the bottom of it.
We've been waiting a couple of hours and we see a light pop up. Then that light is joined by some more lights. Oh my God. It wasn't like discovering something and like, oh wow, we're getting to see this. It was like, oh no, what are we seeing?
When I went outside, I immediately saw this tubular craft. Whatever it was, it seemed like it was intelligently controlled, as if it knew it might be watched.
Oh my God. I could see like the shape of it. It was your classic saucer.
What the f is that? The car surrounded by this white blue light.
It felt like it was moving through me.
I was on the train to Machu Picchu, so I took out my iPhone and I take a shot
This could be the most extraordinary piece of photographic evidence we have in the field.
I see it.
But it's quite remarkable that it's not just one person saying, well, gee, this is what happened to me.
We've been waiting a couple of hours and we see a light pop up. Oh my God. It wasn't like discovering something and like, oh wow, we're getting to see this. It was like, oh no, what are we seeing?
I looked off to the southwest and I could see this bright white light. I was blown away. I want to get to the bottom of it.
When I went outside, I immediately saw this tubular craft. Whatever it was, it seemed like it was intelligently controlled, as if it knew it might be watched.
I see it.
Oh my God.
You gotta see this. You gotta see this.
Around the world, people are witnessing and capturing unexplained phenomena every day.
There's a feeling you get. The hairs on your arms and your neck kind of stand up.
What the is that?
There was a lot that pointed me in the direction of something non-human.
Oh, there goes.
What the is that?
And they are looking for answers.
It left me with a lot of questions.
The recent release of thousands of pages of declassified U.S. government documents, whistleblower testimony,
These objects have been observed for over 2 weeks, coming down from over 80,000 feet.
and shocking new evidence could hold the answer.
Can you confirm that's what it was?
Yes, that's what it was.
Now, two expert investigators will use this new information and their expertise to unlock the truth.
I'm experiencing chills over here.
Mitch Horowitz is an author and historian, known for his investigative research into the unexplained.
You all have had some very mysterious experiences.
The video was extremely compelling.
And Chrissy Newton is a journalist and authority on space, science, and the unknown.
And we were told that this was a secret location.
Absolutely. When I looked up, I saw a UFO in the sky.
Thousands of experiencers came forward and submitted their personal stories and evidence for examination.
These beings were so